Hello, Bob here. On this week's video we move some of the rubble from around the front, fill a bit of the raised bed with some of the soil out from around there, and we do a bit of baking. Also the rains have come quite heavily, so we'll show you a little bit of what's been happening there as well. Morning! So we've got a bit of a rainy day today, so we thought we'd get on with a few inside jobs. One of the things that I've just done is wired up the cooker, which Debi's been desperate for. She's been using Ellie Rose's, which is this one at this side. So we can clean all that one up now and just use the big one. So that's all done and ready to go. The other thing that she wants me to do is to put up a pan rack over here. She doesn't want it over the cooker because of the heat and what have you, so we're just going to offset it and it'll have a cupboard here in future, so yeah. So this has just got some cast iron brackets like that and some wooden rods to go through. So there's about 6 of those, I think. So we'll get on with it and we'll show you what it's like when we've got it done. So as you can see, I've marked the wall over here and I'm using the laser level to mark the other end where the other bracket's going. This bracket. So I need the piece of wood in just to get the... Oop, there goes my glasses. Just to get the distance away from the chimney wall. I want a little gap there because the chimney wall does slope a little bit. I think that's enough sticking out that end. My pencil's behind me here. So that and that, and we turn top holes, and I'll work downwards. I'll bring my level line across, work downwards to get my bottom holes in a second. So as you can see, I've just put the vertical line onto the dot as well. So now when I hold the bracket up, I can work to the bottom hole and the top hole. And that'll give me bang on line for vertical. As long as my arm's not in the way. So that gives me my top and bottom holes. Now I'll use the other bracket for the other one just in case there's any discrepancy in the actual manufacturer of the bracket. And so we'll just mark up our other bracket. So that's all my holes marked up and drilled. Put some plugs in. So we'll just put the brackets up, slide the rods in, done. So I just checked these brackets before I put them on the wall, and don't know whether this will show up very well, but the holes are in totally different places. So yeah, one fits one and one fits the other. Yeah. So that's the two brackets up, now it just gets the wooden bars in between. The little grub screw up here just needs opening up a bit so I can get the bar through. Just screwdriver. I would have liked black screws in here, but I haven't got any. So I will touch these screws up when we have the black paint out, when we paint the beam outside. So the bottom rail, it's alright, we're cracking ourselves laughing here because I just reset the camera because Debbie was making a noise. Then I chuck a bracket clips on the floor, so yeah, that's the way today's going so far. Anyway, so the bottom rail has some hooks what just slide on, so we'll just slide all them on, and then when I look for the other one, they'll all slide off again. Just one more hook what I throw on the floor. And just one more hook on. Line that up roughly with the rest. And again, it's got a grub screw in it. And there we go. I'll just give you a closer look. So that's it up. Debbie will put some pans and things on it later, and as I say, the screws here I'll touch up with some black touch up when I do the beam on the patio.
And just to check in on the cabbage and broccoli we planted a couple of weeks ago now, which seems to be doing really well, so fingers crossed that we actually get cabbage and broccoli this time. And the lettuces that we got and the cabbages the farmers gave us alongside our peppers, which for a while we didn't even know if we were getting any produce off, are now doing absolutely brilliant, so fingers crossed.
Yep, that's it.
So we're now into the middle of October in central Portugal. It's very cloudy today and it's going to be cloudy and rainy. It's forecast for the next couple of weeks. I think the weather's finally turned. We're kind of in the mid-20s. Was mid-30s last week. The vines for the tomatoes are all starting to die off now. Well, they have been for a few weeks actually. So I've picked as much as I can. I've got some red and a few green tomatoes as well. A lot of people are saying to take everything off the vines now, the green ones as well, and compost your vines. However, I am going to do a bit of an experiment and leave the green ones on a little bit longer. There are some kind of yellowy ones as well, because my big chest freezer, which I'll just spin round and show you, is half full of tomatoes. So I'm not too worried. So we'll see how they develop, if they develop. We've also harvested quite a few tomatoes strawberries this morning. We were just getting the odd one or two, but we've got a little haul there, so we'll have those for tea tonight. And we've still got some flowers on, and the plants still look very healthy. So yeah, we'll leave those a bit longer. We've got 5 pomegranates on the tree. That one we've taken off. Steve touched it to just see how it was and it fell off, so I'm hoping that's ready. And I've just harvested 1 green pepper. We're not too keen on green peppers, so again, experiment. I'm leaving them on the plants to see if they will still redden at this time of year. I've also read up somewhere that you can make the tomatoes go red if you put them in a paper bag, so I might try that idea as well. If any of you have got any ideas about making the peppers turn red, I'd be interested to hear that. If you could leave that in the comments below, that would be lovely, thank you. So I'm going to get on now and get these tomatoes ready for the freezer. I'm just thinking that I'm probably going to start canning. I'm a bit concerned about canning, but let's give it a go. So I'm going to order some equipment from Amazon and start and empty the freezer and do some canning of the tomatoes. I've just cut into our first pomegranate. Still a little pink looking, as you can see. I don't think it's quite ready. I have just tasted a little bit. It tastes okay, so I'm not going to waste it. I'm going to take the pips out, the little seeds out, and pop them in my pot in the freezer with sliced strawberries for drinks. So I'm going to make a lasagna today. The sauce is pretty much the same as what Ellie Rose did the other week for the spaghetti bolognese. The tomatoes, we're at the latter end of them now. The rains have come and they're all starting to split, so I'm just cutting some up, and any bits that are not suitable for the lasagna, I'm just popping in a box for the chickens. So in my pan, I've got some olive oil and some butter, and I'm just going to gently fry those off while I'm preparing the onions. So I've got the tomatoes boiling. I've not put a lid on because I want some of the liquid to evaporate from them, because I like quite a thick sauce. So that's the sauce nicely simmering away, and I'm just going to chop some fresh basil. I find it easier to do with scissors. So I'm just going to pop that in with the tomatoes. And a 1/4 teaspoon of salt I'm going to pop in. And a couple of bay leaves that I've dried, Portugal it is, G and Andres from Portugal it is. Last time when we was at their place, they gave us quite a big piece of like a twig with lots of leaves on from their bay leaf tree, so I've dried those and they're very nice. Just give that a stir around. Oh, some pepper. I'll pop a bit of pepper in there. Ground pepper. And just let that infuse. Yeah, I know, I've got my gas hob working and I'm still using this little induction hob. I quite like it actually. So I'm just going to just put some olive oil in, and when that gets hot I shall add the onion, and I also like garlic in my lasagna. Yeah. Just fry the onion off. I'm now going to add the garlic. And now I'm going to add some white wine. About quarter to half a glass. I'm going to boil that off so that the alcohol boils off and just leaves the flavour of the wine. The onions are what we've grown in the garden. Most of the wine's boiled off now. I should have added my meat first, but there's very little liquid left anyway now, so I'm using pork because it's less fattening. So minced pork, it's about 3/4 of a pound there. I usually get about 2 kg at a time, kilos, and pack it up into about 5 packs. So there's just a bit less than a pound in each one. I don't think you need a full pound of meat when you're doing something like lasagna or spaghetti bolognese. Obviously depending on how many of you there are. There's only me and Ellie Rose because Steve doesn't eat tomatoes. So he's having a shepherd's pie tonight. And this, what I'm cooking now, will do Ellie Rose and I for 2 meals. So we'll make it up, freeze it, and then reheat it. And to those of you that say you can't freeze pork, you can if it's cooked. And but you do, Alfie, you do need to make sure when you reheat it that it has heated through properly and reached the right temperature. So I'll let that cook out and brown off a little. So that's the meat, the onions, the garlic and the white wine just cooking away steadily there. And there's the tomato with the herbs just infusing. And then I'll bring the two together shortly. So I've got my dish and I've put the lasagna sheets in the bottom. It's always nicer if you do fresh, but I don't have any fresh at the moment. Just going to add a little pinch of salt to the meat. And I always add some OXO cubes. Well, 1 OXO cube. I'm adding 1.5 today because I've got one left over, half of one left over. It just gives the meat that little bit more flavour. And I'm also just going to add a little bit of tomato paste. Not very much, about a tablespoon. Give that a good mix round. Just remove the bay leaves. And then I'll just mix that in there. Different people do different things, but this is my version of lasagna because this is how Ellie Rose and I like it. Sometimes I do puree the tomatoes, you know, just or bash them down a little bit. Sometimes I leave them in chunks. I'll just show you that, and I'll also do a taste test. Just make sure I get some meat and some tomato. That's quite nice. So that's one layer of sauce in. I'll put some more pasta in. I knew that wouldn't break right because it's on camera. Pour the second layer on. I know a lot of recipes say you should put cheese in between, but again, to save calories, I put the cheese on the top. So mozzarella cheese, just making sure all the pasta's covered. And that's ready to go in the oven. So that's the lasagna out of the oven. And I'll just show you that cut open. Just going to get a plate to pop that on. Oops. So there we are. We'll have just a few chips and maybe a little bit of garlic bread with that. So I checked my house around 10 o'clock this morning, if even that. And since then, it's now about 1 o'clock. I came in to have another quick check with the things being put in the roof, the chimney. And I am studying essentially a river's worth of water. We know it's coming from this back room, which has been used as cardboard storage and assorted storage. I did have quite a few things in here that I've had to hurriedly move out, anything important that I could reach. There's a few other things that, boxes mainly, that I would have rather had out, but I'm not getting that option at the moment. So for now, quite like the flood videos that everyone sees and you think, oh, that's Debi. I am resorting to a piece of old cardboard to physically move the water out of my house. Thankfully, it seems that this room is on a bit of a slant towards the outside door. There is unfortunately a bit of a crevice that seems to go towards my bedroom just here. And obviously there's a little bit of damp on the ground here. Anything that I did have stored has been hurriedly thrown in here, so you can see how well that's going. Hopefully, Steve will find the source of the leak in here and lock it up, because otherwise my house is going to flood. Wish me luck. So on the plus side, at least we know that the channel that that my dad has dug is actually successful. It is guiding the water away from the houses and down the land. But that land over there is now very, very boggy. Now I'm going to try and find out if I've got an update. Any update for YouTube?
Hey?
Any update for YouTube?
Yeah, we've got water leaks.
They know that much. Okay, what do we think is the issue and how are we trying to solve it?
Well, because we've got no gutters on and it's such heavy rain, it's all going down the back of the house. I'm trying to just put some tiles there to direct it a little bit, as I'm going to do here. Just be careful where you stand, because you're going to stand in that gully.
Yeah, got my eye on it.
So basically, if I can get the water down here, and I'm soaked, I can get it to run and into the gully down there. I've tried the same there, but the trouble is I've got all my tiles piled there, so I can't get under it. Now I don't know whether that's just going to rise up and make a pond, which I don't want it to do. I don't know. It did look as though some of it was getting away, but I had to show her how fast. There is a slight flow. You can see the dirt moving, so but that could be going back over there somewhere. I just don't know. I'm trying to get it to the wall so it at least seeps through the wall somewhere. As you can see, the gully's quite full and flowing quite fast. It hasn't got to our wall height, but I just don't know how I'm going to get it to soak through under the tiles. I made a little track down here, what seems to be clearing this into the gully. Yeah, I just don't know about that. What I am going to have to do is, when it's drier, is pull a load of this out, so we've got a track. Having said that, as soon as we get the gutters up, we should stop this problem, or 90% of it. The rest of it should just soak in. So that's all I'm doing for now, because I'm soaking, and if I can keep it going, keep just water running away, yeah, it'll be better. But yeah, we've got problems like this all over with having no gutter and such heavy rain, so including the chimneys leaking quite badly in places. And Ellie Rose has got a little bit of a flood in her house coming through, we think coming through the wall, so I would assume this is where it's coming up at the bottom, where it was banked up and it's running back towards the house. Hopefully some of this will stop it. Just going to put another couple of tiles down there just to try. Keep the splashes off the wall and what have you. This one's still got a bit of movement, so but without moving all the tiles I can't get in to go any further.
How do you know now what tile stacking would have caused us a problem?
Well, it's not the tile stacking, it's how the mud's been piled up, to be fair, so and all the rubbish left. But yeah, we'll see what we can do. Well, we need that. Hopefully that'll stop some of ours as well.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
Right, let's get in.
Yeah. So, morning. It's stopped raining today. So while it has, I'm just trying to do a little job of moving some of this earth where it was banked up. It was quite high banked up and it was running towards the house. As you can see, we've got a damp line on the house. There's nothing we can do about that at the moment, because until we get the gutters on, this channel where the footings were dug out is always going to fill up with water. I've had thoughts about putting a French drain in and running it all the way down the footings and out there, but when I get to that side, the ground, the other side of the wall is about 2 foot lower. Maybe a bit more than that, so when the French drain comes out, it's going to be above ground and it will run out all over. Anyway, that's another thought. So what I'm doing at the moment is just moving some of this banking so it's not all sloping as that big mud pile is. It's not all sloping into that. It won't stop much of the water getting there because most of it's coming off the roof when it rains, because we have no gutters. The gutters are ordered, but I don't think they're coming for another week or so. Yeah, so we're just trying to move a little bit, stop a little bit of running that way. I know it won't be much in the scheme of things, but it may stop a little. The other problem we've got is the gully outside, what takes the water away when it does rain, is higher than the footings of the house, so we can't actually dig a channel out and bring it to this gully. I am going to bring the gutters at 45 and angle them down so that they do come out into this gully, but yeah, until we get them, it's just going to rain down there and it's just going to get wet. So we want to get that done as soon as possible. Obviously we don't want the walls soaking through. But the earth what I'm getting from here is what used to have all the straw in it. So what I'm doing, although it's got a lot of stones in it, what I'm doing is putting it in the raised beds. I'll just show you where I'm putting that. So I did start putting it down in that area. You can see where there's a pile there and a pile here, because the drain outlet for the washing machine and what have you runs down there, and it was washing some of it out. Also, it was a bit of a dip where it sunk after the builders had levelled it up. So yeah, we just scraped a bit more in, and then I've put some of that on top. But then I realised that it's a bit good quality soil for doing that, so I've started putting it in the raised bed. So as you can see, it's quite good stuff, but it's got a lot of stones in it. So what I'm doing is putting it in the raised bed. Most of the stones then you can see on the surface, most of the bigger ones. Take them out, and then I've got another stone pile what I'm going to use for like a bit of hardcore. I've got loads of stones, so yeah, it'll get used up somewhere. So that's most of the stone out. It's just starting to rain again, so I'm going to have to stop there, but what it'll do is when it rains it'll wash these stones. It'll be easier to see anyway, like you can at the other side of the bed. And then we can pick them all out. The other side of the bed's just rough backfill really, so that won't be we won't be taking as much stone out of that. You know, the little bits can stay, the bigger bits will come out, and then it'll get filled up with decent soil, maybe some compost. We'll see where we go from there, but if there's enough of this soil I'll be using that to fill it right up. So I've just finished digging this little channel out of the track. Hope nobody complains, but we get an awful lot of water run straight down. It makes a river all the way down the land, and it's supposed to go to this gully at the side. So I've just tracked a little bit of dirt out. We're expecting more rain, so hopefully that'll just take it away. So thanks for watching. Don't forget the links below for Instagram and Facebook, which we update during the week. Bye, see you next week.